Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mighty Benaya, and I am covering the Chatter's Invitational game. Last video, I realized after I had published it that I had neglected to share what I was doing, other than the fact to say that I was not being aggressive. So, in order to defend myself well, I have placed all of my troops in my capital because my capital increases in morale faster than anywhere else does. And so therefore my troops will increase in morale faster than, say, over here. Now, it's not by that much, and especially with a smaller country like Korea, it's not that impactful. However, you can see, whoa, actually, I should probably put troops there. Oh no, it's because they are generating from that area. So I am increasing my morale from my capital, and I am continuously building additional fortifications at my choke point. And then I have a counter spy in Seoul, a counter spy in Manu, and a counter spy somewhere else that I am changing the position of, so it will be different today than it will be tomorrow. But that is what I am doing to solidify my defensive nature. Eventually, I will focus on railways. I've not built any harbors because I don't need ships, because I'm not going to project power. I'm going to build factories, I'm going to build artillery, I'm going to build railguns, and I'm going to build fighters. But I don't need bombers because railguns will do the same job, and I don't want to project that power somewhere else. But I do need fighters to defend against bombers, etc., etc. So now that that is over with, I probably won't address that anymore. There is plenty more in the world to address. Let's start with Japan. Last time we talked about he had placed a bunch of troops here, and he did in fact take this first province here, and it looks like he is moving to take this second province here from the AI to unify Japan. I am curious, did he build? He has not built a double workshop in his conquered province yet. It will be interesting to see if he decides to do that, because he, as you remember, has built double workshops in all of his provinces and has now built a fort in 2 locations instead of just 1. Going south, wildly different name actually, decided to join our cast of featured nations. And he did something interesting, and I want to highlight it. He declared war on the American Philippines, which is an AI. Nobody has taken control of the American Philippines yet. He built a fort and emptied it completely of all troops. So what this does is it tempts the AI to take an empty province, and prior to the AI actually attacking, he then moves his troops in to kill off the AI's troops. So the AI comes in to attack him, he kills all of the troops that they sent to attack. It's a very, very slow way of taking out an AI, but it's also a highly efficient way of taking out an AI. So it's interesting. I wouldn't suggest it on maps where there's a lot of pressure to conquer quickly. In areas where there's a lot of pressure to conquer quickly, for example, I wouldn't do this in Europe, but he's an island he shares an island with an AI, and so this might be a really, really good way to accomplish this. So 500 player map on Cuba. If you are at peace for a while with the other half of Cuba, and you decide, and they go AI, and you decide you want to take all of Cuba, this might be a great way to accomplish that. So interesting to see what he's doing here. He has not built workshops in most of his locations. He did build a double workshop on his double iron, and he built a double workshop on his double coal. So doubles on doubles. And then it looks like he is building a harbor for his double iron, which is going to be helpful as he decides, likely to produce cruisers and battleships to project power once the Philippines is gone. Moving farther south, we have what used to be a different name. Now he's Smooth Criminal. And it appears as if he is being invaded by British New Zealand. Is this an invasion? Let's check and see if they are at war. They are not at war, so perhaps there is right-of-way and New Zealand is coming in to reinforce. Yes, it looks like New Zealand is coming in to reinforce. This is the player, if you will remember, that has a single workshop on all of their territories. And they are not building units on all of their territories, but they have started to build some armored cars. So it will be interesting to see how this progresses, especially with an ally in New Zealand. Moving over to India. India did, in fact, move up and take, as we had supposed, took Bombay, took out the AI that was there, and appears to be just fortifying their north as they build up. There is a damaged fort where the AI was. There appear to be no other forts built. No other forts built. There he is building armored cars. Oh, there is a fort in his capital. And then there are several workshops so that he can build cars quickly. But really, other than some scouting, nothing unusual happening with India. A good defensive play to prevent invasion from the north. Up here in Mongolia, we are finally seeing a little bit of movement, but most of the movement is just with the armored cars. So no real movement from Mongolia. They appear to have, at the very least, right of way with Hongxian. Hongxian, if you will remember, I believe is part of a coalition, one of the Chinese coalitions in the game. So Mongolia may be making a play to appear harmless and even friendly with the Chinese coalition so that maybe they can join it, or at the very least, not be concerned about invasion. I did get right of way with an AI there. Let's look at Tom. Tom is not making any movements other than... No, I don't think he's made any movements. He has started harbors, though. So if you'll remember, he had not built any workshops when last we saw. He hadn't built anything. So it appears that Tom has decided to save all of his funds to build a harbor. This is an interesting choice. It's an economic choice, but I don't know that I agree with it because you're delaying your potential factories and you're delaying your potential arty in the late game if you're not building workshops. As long as you're not building at least one workshop, right? I would build at least a workshop in the same province that you're building your harbor. I'm curious as to the reasoning why that was not done. Moving south, he who went to Malta. It looks like they were going to war, I believe, last time when we checked in. They are at war with Austria. That's right, I remember now. They went to take a province from Austria. I did not catch what happened here, but it looks like there is enough fortifications that both sides are unconcerned. Austria does seem... Actually, let's look at the morale map briefly to see. Yes. So it looks like Venice and Verona were captured. Those two were AI at one point. So it looks like those two were captured perhaps by Italy and now are owned by Austria. Further south, Austria has some defenses in their south to prevent naval landings, but most of their forces are focused in the north to prevent any invasion from the Austrians, who may be... Yes, it looks like Austria is about to be attacked by Hungary. Are they at war? No. So it may be that Hungary has decided to attack Hitch has decided to attack Austria. I will look at the name later. As we move south, I did get Vision. Another cast member has joined. This is I Need Wood, and it appears that I Need Wood, which is playing British East Africa, has opted to attack Mogadishu, the AI, and has kept their southern border mostly intact without any real changes in the defensive structure. They did add a fort here in Nairobi, but it is just now building. So it wasn't a day one fort that was being built. It is a fort that he only started as attacks could be made. There's also a harbor here, so there's some economic buildings going down, but it seems like there's a lot of peaceful negotiations in the most of the world. Let's actually take a nice big look at the continent of Africa. So Frenchie took out an AI. This was an AI. Volta was an AI. There's actually here German Cameroon, which is Pendragon Z. Looks like they took out a, they eliminated a French Saharan AI, which then took their capital. So that's bad luck for them. But for the most part, it's just, okay, well, we're going to attack a couple of AIs, right? Across the globe, there's a couple of spots where AIs have been removed, except in the Americas. So Lord Wolf, and I apologize, I did not capture his beautiful art across the seas, but you can look at it in the channel on Discord. He captured it for all of us to see. But Lord Wolf, if you'll remember last time, he was about to attack Argentina. We were watching as his troops marched to Argentina, and he communicated to me, as well as to some others, that Argentina instantly created, using gold marks, instantly created 5 cavalry and a fort right where he was attempting to conquer. So that is why he's changed his name to Lord Wolf Midas Slayer, Midas being a reference to King Midas, who everything he touched changed to gold. And it appears as if he has had some help from Lelocurd, or at the very least, Lelocurd is doing some reconnaissance. But it appears that Lelocurd may have come in and assisted in defeating Argentina after Argentina made additional units out of nowhere. So Argentina has been pushed back to their capital plus 1 province. There are a couple of holdouts across the map, but it is interesting that Lord Wolf has been able to defeat, with the troops that he had available, has been able to defeat Argentina. If you will also remember, Argentina very nearly declared war on Punta Arenas and almost took out that AI. They turned around with 35 troops at the last possible minute, as far as I can tell, when they saw that they were going to be overrun by Lord Wolf. So we have peace throughout most of the globe, and then we have the debacle in Argentina. It'll be really interesting to see how this continues to progress. Peru has, Lelocurd in Peru has continued to build up forces. So it is very possible that they only sent scouts and they did not help against Argentina, now that I'm looking at this troop count. But it appears as if most of their troops are stationed where they generated, with the exception of these 20 that are guarding against an AI. So there's no player. It is very possible that Lelocurd is going to launch an attack against Ecuador. Moving farther north, Captain Jack Sparrow has successfully taken the Panama Canal. and now has control of the major passage between the Atlantic and the Pacific. The whole coalition has a stronghold on the Caribbean itself, with One-Eyed Willie having control of most of the islands, and having taken NAI out here in Santo Domingo. Moving farther north to Washington, D.C., Richard Nixon, which is a name change, has had all of their forts built for some time. They have built second-level forts in a couple of key places, but they have started a harbor in Washington, D.C., which is going to be good for their economics. My concern is they have one player bordering them, and they spent all of those resources on forts when there's only one border that they need to be concerned with, as long as they keep their popularity up. So I am curious as to if they were concerned that additional players would join, or if they thought that perhaps the pirates might make their way north, or the fans of How I Met Your Mother, the McLarens, would make their way south. So good luck to Richard Nixon in defending your space there. That covers all of the different areas of the globe, and I did go through morale changes so that we can see where has been conquered. So let's move back to show relations, and then let's look at coalition changes. So the United Isles has had an addition. I believe Zero Survival Instincts is new there. No, I believe it's Warlord DWK that is new there. The Lion's Den has had King Spankerton added, and there are no other major changes other than Jimmy Jazz. Jimmy Jazz was added to the American Empire, and I believe there are several minor coalitions that are one-player coalitions. That is all that I have for this go-around. If you have any questions or any comments on things that players did well, please let me know in the comments. If you are enjoying this, give me a like. I want to share this game with as many people as I can. And if you want to continue seeing this, if you want to be notified whenever a new video comes out, go ahead and hit subscribe so that you can be notified. Soli Deo Gloria, and I'll see you next time.